Welcome back to the VR workshop. Today you get to do a little bit of fabrication. I'm going to move up to the front end of the bike for the next couple of jobs. Because we've cut the mudguard shorter and extended it forward, we want to box in this part here because my head sits right here and there will be salt spray coming upwards. So if we can box in the back of the wheel, and then we'll put a bit of brush to try and seal the area between the mudguard and the plate so we can still move the wheel outside the mudguard. That should stop salt coming back up. Now, because of the position in this, one single piece does not fit. It may if we remove the mudguard, and that just makes things very, very awkward. So it's been modelled into two pieces. So we need to mark it up, drill some holes. I'm going to try my hand at some panel beating and make a lip over it so it sits flush, and then we just mount it to this bar. It doesn't need to be mounted any harder than some good zip ties. So let's get that going. So that's the plate done. I'm going to be honest with you, I was going to take a couple of practice shots at getting that right, and then thought I just don't have the time, so I'm going to do it first with my only cut piece, so you guys seen it develop at the same time I did. But it came out okay, it's not too bad at all. I'm still going to mark it for holes to mount it. More importantly, now we're going to think about how we're going to fit this brush on the top of it and clamp it down. That needs a bit more thought. So what you're seeing here pretty much sums up this entire build. Just making as we go along. So we have a plate which has been formed and covers most of the area that we need. And we have this brush, and I've tried to drill holes to clamp it down. The trouble is when you do that, you end up losing some of the bristles. My first thought was to have a zip tie around it, and that just split it. So the next thought was to bolt it through, but you lose too many bristles in the process. This side is slightly better, but you can see it's falling out. So if we fit this as is, and you've got a lot of high-speed wind coming up this way, I'm not sure what the longevity of these bristles would be. So the next plan was to sandwich it, originally using the same holes, but that's not going to work either. So now we're noodling an idea of a secondary plate, maybe sandwiching it down. Maybe we'll just come back to it. Try something else where we can win first. Keep at it. Okay, I have a plan. I'm going to bend this bit of metal in a little L shape. We'll sandwich the brush down, and we can fold in the edges as well. So when we get the new brush, not one that's drilled up and falling apart, it will sink into that little channel with each end, so it will be squashed down, can't move side to side or splay out when you cut it. That might work. Sadly, the only plate I've got that's relatively the right size to do this is 3mm, so we're going to need a big hammer to bend this. So this will be a test piece. Let's try it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Bear in mind, this is a prototype, and that horrible bit of bent metal is not the right thickness for this at all. But it's what I'm lying around. So, but for proof of concept, it's going to work quite well. If we add a couple more bolts in this as well, could probably utilize these bolts for mounting the plate onto one of the frames as well. A 2-for-1 deal. Yeah, I think that's going to work. Get a new plate made up in CAD, and we'll get it bent nicely on a CNC bender. We'll get another brush which doesn't have holes in it. I think we're on a winner. So this is work in progress. We need to model it in CAD and make something that's going to work prettier than what we made up for the prototype. We do, however, need a strap for our battery tray. Now, we did have a rubber strap over this last year at Bonneville. During tech inspection, we were advised that it needed to be a metal fixed clamp on the battery. We got away with using a metal zip tie, but really wasn't a long-term solution. So the battery mount was, or the tray was modified before it went for powder coat. Now we've just got to make the top part, so we can get cracked on with that. So that wraps up another video, quite heavily involved with fabrication on this one, but progress forward. We did actually get the brush clamp back from the bending facility, bending company, but we don't have a brush to fit yet, so that's going to have to be on hold until we get the brush. But yeah, so if you've enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. If you've got any comments, suggestions on how we can do this better, please let us know. And we'll catch you in the next one.